Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're looking at the NECA Street Fighter 4 Ken figure. Now this is basically the exact same figure as Ryu. We do have a few minor differences, one being that the gi is not tattered at the bottom or around the shoulders. Obviously he has a different head, and he has one different hand. He has two fist hands, as you can see, one open hand just like Ryu, and then instead of another open hand we have a thumbs up hand. And actually, this is the best spread out of interchangeable hands. Some of the packs only got, what did they get? 2 thumbs up, I think? 2 thumbs up instead of a fist. They screwed up the packaging. They got different hands that you weren't supposed to get. You got doubles of one instead of another. So it depends where you bought this. I think the Toys R Us ones all had doubles, and then maybe if you got them at FYE they were a different, I don't know anymore, but these are the ones you want to have: 2 fists, 1 open hand, and 1 thumbs up. So that'll cover that. Just like Ryu, he stands almost exactly 7 inches tall, just under. Again, it's a very good figure. He actually has a little bit of a better paint job than Ryu. I'm not sure why that is, but his shading's good throughout the skin and the clothes, just like Ryu, but the detail paintwork is much better. If you looked at the fists, there's not as much problem. There's not as much of a problem with over painting and bleeding and that kind of thing. The face has really no problems with it. The detail work is really spot on with this guy. The belt is better. So I don't know what happened with Ryu, but Ken's doing much better. One thing to point out, they do separate here at the gi sometimes when you pose the legs too much, but you can just push that in and glue it down. As far as the likeness goes, I think it could be a little bit better, just because his face has very little detail in the cheekbone, jaw area. It's not bad at all, but I think it could have had just a little bit extra detail. It still looks pretty good though, and as you can see, the paintwork is spot on. The chin is a little bit overpainted, I think, but still, it's pretty good. The hair is sculpted well. There's a bit of shading. I think they're shading. It's hard to tell. It might just be poor paint, and you can see through to the plastic they use, but I'm not sure. Either way, it looks good. Let's cover the articulation, even though it's the same as Ryu. He's got the head on a ball joint. A little bit better range of motion than Ryu. It looks up a little bit better. Looks down just about the same. It rotates, of course, and then it has a little bit rock back and forth, a little bit more than Ryu. He's got the butterfly joint for the shoulder, so you can bring those arms up and forward a little bit better. Ball disc shoulder itself, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Still somewhat limited, even though it's double jointed, just due to the bulk of the arm. You can still get a decent range of motion, but not a whole lot. A peg swivel in the wrist with the hinge, of course. Ab crunch built in to the torso. The gi does not get in the way. You can still have him bend over pretty well, so posing is not a problem with this guy. He goes back a little bit too. He's got a waist twist. DC Universe Classic style hips where they swing forward like this and then out to the side like that. Cut joint for the thigh swivel. Double jointed knees that are very stiff, but they do work. And he does have a shin swivel, though it's pretty limited due to the sculpt of the pants. They're longer than Ryu, so they're pretty limited. He has an ankle pivot again, you can see that in there, but again, it's very limited. Actually, mine are stuck there. It's still pretty limited, but it's not too bad. He does have an ankle rocker for each foot, so I really appreciate that. It really helps in posing. And then you have the toe joint. And just like Ryu, his joints are tight enough where he can support his whole weight on just the toes. If you wanted to stand him up just like that, you could definitely do it. As long as you take the time to balance him, you won't have any trouble at all. So it is definitely a very good figure, and I do like it, so I do recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the NECA Street Fighter 4 figures, and in the meantime, keep collecting.